Welcome back to another episode or another installment of building the QDX revision 3. And in our last one, we left off at installing the BS170s, which are these four little guys right here, and which we did, and they're done. The next step, of course, if you are following along in the great, awesome manual provided by QRP Labs, is this. What is that? It's T1. Now, T1 is the power transformer that transforms things for the PA, and this is where we have a decision to make. Are we going to run on 9 volts or 12 volts? Well, my decision was already made. I'm running on 12 volts because I don't want to have to worry about differing voltages and differing power supplies. I've got, I don't want, I don't want to build basically, I don't want anything in my shack that takes 9 volts but has a power connector for 12. That makes a decision for me. Your decision will be made by you. So make a decision, because right now it affects how many windings we do on the secondary on this. So every transformer has a primary and a secondary, right? So you have a transformer right here. Let's see. Here, we'll grab actual paper. How's that? And just pull something from here. So every transformer has windings. So you have a primary and a secondary of sorts. Right? So here's the primary, here's the secondary, and this has so many turns, and this has so many turns. Well, in this case, we've got this transformer that has a primary with 3 turns, 2, 3, and a secondary with 2 turns, 1, 2. That's for 12 volts. Now, one of these, I can't remember which one it is, has I believe it's the primary is center tapped, which means that 2 of these here actually go all the way down and touch down here instead of, yeah, this is the primary. So all that means is that going through this, we're going to have, basically we're going to have one going in here and in and then out and then back in and then another time around and then out. So that's 1, 2, 3, something like that. We're gonna follow the directions so we get it right. But that center tap means basically that instead of this one just being like so, right, we're gonna put it way out here so that these 2 can be tapped by another circuit. So I'm not gonna go into it further than that. If you want to know more than that, well, there's this beautiful thing you can read. It's called the manual, and it explains it way better than I just did. So let's get to it, shall we? So the first thing it says to do, and by the way, we're on page 17 of the manual. Step 1, carefully unwrap the thick 0.6 millimeter or 22 gauge wire. That's this right here. Carefully unwrap it and straighten it, ensuring there are no kinks. Okay, so we'll carefully unwrap this. Try to put yourself in the mind of the person who wrapped it, and then do the exact opposite of what they did. All right, and just try to pull this straight through here. So it says, pass the wire through both holes, starting at the top left as shown. This is the first turn. So we could cheat and do it a different way, but I'm just going to do it as the directions say. So we have this, and this goes through here. And the key thing here is you don't try to be smart. Just follow directions. It works better, trust me. And I'm going to pull that through. Okay, this is our first turn of the 3-turn primary winding. Okay, that's step 1. By the way, these are pictures, so it's really easy to follow. Actually, that was step 2. Step 1 was to unravel this. So that was step 2. Now pass the wire through the top hole of the binocular core. See, this looks like a pair of binoculars, right? So binocular core. From back from left to right. This is the next half turn of the primary winding, bringing the number of turns so far to 1.5. Now we just make the center tap. So we're going to take this, put it right here. I'm trying to get some more light in here for you. Okay, we're going to pull this through. Okay, there's 1.5 windings because we're on each set going through the entire thing is one turn. So we have 1.5 turns here. Now we're to center tap it. Center tap means just leaving some extra. That's all an extra tap means. It means leaving some extra room. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this screwdriver, and well, that's probably a bit big. I'm going to take something other than that screwdriver. Well, I'm just gonna use my imagination, okay? So we're gonna take this right here, we're gonna put this through, but instead of pulling it tight, we're going to leave some slack. Check that out. We're leaving some slack. So now we have 2 turns going through here. Okay. So there's 2 turns, and we're going to take these and we're going to squeeze it together, as it says in step 6 here. Squeeze together the center tap to try to avoid subsequent confusion. Okay, we have the center tap squeezed. We could even go as far as squeezing it more if we want to. I don't think it's going to do it lick a good, but you know, let's be thorough, shall we? All right, so there's that. Now, and it says cut it right here to about one centimeter. That's probably more than a centimeter, but I'm not too worried about it. All right, we're cutting it. So I actually skipped a step. Step 5 is to cut that. Step 6 is to squinch that, using technical terms here. Now, start the 3-turn secondary winding by pushing the wire from the right to left through the bottom hole of the binocular core. So right to left from the bottom hole of the binocular core. Now, I'm not doing a 3-turn secondary. I'm doing a 2-turn secondary. So we're going to modify that here. So from right to left, just as it says. Okay. And now I'm going to do, that's half turn. I'm going to send this through. Now I have a whole turn. Okay, so there's 1 whole turn. Now I'm going to do it again. There's 1.5 turns. If you don't struggle with these things, you are not human, I swear. Okay, I definitely do. I mean, come on. Who wouldn't? All right, so pull this through here. Okay, there is 1.5 turns, and finally 2 turns. Try to get these even, I guess. Okay. So now, if I was doing if I was building my rig for 9 volts, I would do one more turn just as I did. So I'd do this one more time around. That'll transfer more power from the primary into the secondary. So the secondary is picking up power that's going into the primary. And the more turns, the more power you pick up, the more output you get. But since we're starting with less output, because more output, because we're running things at 12 volts, we're getting more input into this, so we want to pick up less of it. Anyway, you get the idea, I think, I hope. All right, so now we have it. That is, this is T1, right? T1, did I say T1? Is that right? Yes, that's right. Okay, now, step 9, bend all the wires point downward in the position they'll need to be to fit through the holes in the PCB. Okay, so down, 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 down. All right, sounds like I'm giving treats to a bunch of dogs. Down, down, sit. All right, now cut the center tap loop. Hopefully, as mine are in the photograph, these 2 wires formed by cutting the loop are longer than the 2 ends. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these shorter for clarity's sake to follow the directions here. I left those pretty darn long. I'm gonna cut them shorter yet because I know I don't need them that long. And then I'm gonna cut these 2 a little bit longer so that I know that those go together. All right, and insert it in the PCB. All right, so if you look at the PCB here, you can see here's the holes for the secondary, here's the hole for the primary, and here's the hole for the center tap. So what we're gonna do, in fact, let me get you some magnification and lighting here. I'm gonna try to get all these in here. And this is just fiddly. It's not difficult, but it is fiddly. But we can do fiddly. All right, there's those 2, or almost. Yep, there's those 2. Those 2 through the bottom. And then I'll take these 2, since these are longer, they're gonna go in the middle. And I think I need to bend these inward just a smidge. Okay, those are kinda, they're in but not really far in. Now I need to get these ones in. Hopefully I gave myself enough room. Did not give myself a lot of room on these secondaries, or the primary here. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull a little bit out. There's definitely some slack there. In fact, I'm just gonna, there we go, pull on these a bit. Ah, I just cut that shorter, darn it. That might bite me in the butt. I was trying to pull that out and I cut it shorter. I might have messed that up. Yeah, I think I did. Let's pull this out, see if I can get any more length out of this here. There we go. these tweezers aren't the best pliers to be pulling with, and I don't know what I did with my other pliers. I have got a pair of what do you call them? A Gerber multi-tool pliers and everything else, and it works really well for this kind of thing, and I just don't know where I put it. It's either in my truck or somewhere around there. All right. Rest the hands for a second here. Hands, my hands, H-A-N-D-S, not hands, H-A-N-S. Hands is probably resting right now. Actually, she's probably having breakfast right about now. It's early in Turkey because it's what, 10:30 here in the evening, so it's probably, I guess, 8:30 there, something like that. Okay, let's try to get these a bit lined back up. Get this actually in frame here. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do, since those are longer. Yeah. Like I said, it's fiddly, but we already knew that. Now I'm gonna have to get those in because they're so much longer. See, part of my problem is I'm trying to hurry to keep this video short. Don't do that. Well, I'm not trying to hurry now, but I was. I was trying to see, look, it's so easy. Snip, snip, clip, clip, wind, wind, turn, turn, pop, pop, solder, solder. But in doing so, I shot myself in the foot. Which only can emphasize the main point of this whole series. Take your time, relax, enjoy. You can do it. Even if you screw it up like I just did, you can still salvage it. And the worst case scenario here, worst case, is I go to kitsandparts.com and I buy a thing of 22 gauge solder strippable wire, enameled wire. Enameled wire. Can't even say it. That'd be the worst case scenario, and it costs a few dollars. Or Amazon, or just, whoever sells this kind of thing. Or maybe I even have some in my stash because people have been generous and sent me parts of their stashes to help me out so I can scratch build more and have more things to share on the channel. So maybe one of your ham buddies has some. Either way, you'll get there. Okay, that's not a lot of contact, but it's probably enough. Okay, there we go. So you can see they're all sticking through now, not by very much, I must admit, and by less than I would prefer, but it is enough. It really is, I promise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this here, and I'm going to read the directions. So insert the wires in the middle, and so on, in step 10. Step 12, now we need to get the enamel off the wire. Usually on thinner wire, I hold the soldering iron to the wire until the enamel burns off. That doesn't work so well on thicker wires such as this. So my technique here is to scrape off the enamel, at least partially, using wire cutters. The correct pressure needs to be applied to the wire cutter so as to not actually cut the wire. Out the wire cutter as close to PCB as possible, then gently but firmly pull the cutter away from the PCB, scratching off the enamel. Turn the cutter to a different angle, scrape again 2 or 3 times. is not necessary to remove all the enamel. If you get a good scrapes on, enough enamel will be removed that the soldering iron will heat. Heat will burn off the rest of the enamel, and a good joint will be achieved. Okay, cool. Do this for the 4 winding ends first. Leave the two center tap for later to make it easier. Okay. So what this is saying, according to these instructions here, is to really carefully, don't cut it, scrape. I have to be especially careful because if I cut it, I'm kind of hosed. I should probably turn on my soldering iron. There it goes. All right. Okay. Also, being really mindful not to injure any of the SMD components that are on the back here, because that would be not good. Also, sorry, I'm not getting this in frame very well. I apologize. It's hard to concentrate and do this correctly and get it on camera and not sound like a complete moron. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad. All right. I'm not sure which 2, but you know, it varies by a minute. All right, so I'm gonna turn up my soldering iron nice and hot because these will dissipate some serious heat. And tin the tip. Now these I am going to cut shorter after I get these. And that one is not sticking. Oh, it is sticking through as far as it's going to. Okay. Remember, you can use solder to make your tip bigger. All right, now I'm holding the soldering iron to the wire and to the board. I think that's as good as that's going to get. Now I'm going to do the same here. And try to watch for the solder bubbling. That's how I know the enamel this leftover is being burned off. Okay. And you can also tell because the solder tip gets black. That's the enamel burning off. So that's a good sign. Both of those are good signs there. And I'm going to go ahead and trim these as suggested by the... No, not suggested, as commanded by the manual. The manual is not a suggestion. It's the law. All right. Well, all right. So let's go ahead and get this one. Okay. Yeah, definitely got too much solder in there. Darn it. You know, that's one of the problems doing it the way I do is sometimes you get too much solder. That isn't hurt anything, but you know, it's not exactly good craftsmanship, really. I could try to get that off of there, but yeah. Got a little bit off. If I could find my solder sucker, I'd just suck that right up, but it's not that big of a deal, and it's not within eyesight, so yeah, not happening. All right, last but not least, we've got the center tap here. So let's get some heat into that. And it suggests doing about 15 seconds of heat. So I'm going to really hold this one on there. Okay, that's probably more than 15 seconds, and that's okay. All right, so trim this one down a little bit. All right, so we've got all those in, and we should have, it should be good. Now, it does give a continuity test. Unfortunately, I cannot find my DVM. I don't know where it went. So I am not going to be real time. I'm going to press the pause on my video, and then in just a minute, I'll have it. Right, is that pause? Pause is right there. All right, I am back, and I have my DVM, and it was exactly where I left it. Exactly. I had just forgotten where that was. So what I'm going to do, says verify good connections for all 5 soldered joints of T1 using a DMM to set resistance or continuity mode. Continuity mode. There we go. All right. And where does it want continuity checked? All right. All points labeled A in the photo. So you're gonna have to use your imagination or follow along in the photo. And let's see, A is gonna be here and there. Continuity and here. Continuity, and then B and B, which is, and this is really small, here and here. Woohoo! All right, so we have continuity. Let's see here. And there should be no continuity between A and B. So we'll check one between one A and one B. So there's an A, and or actually we'll just do this, A and a B, no continuity. All right, no continuity, yeah. So beautiful. All right, so we have a successful T1 installation, and that'll wrap up this video. So how long did the T1 installation take? Let's see, this video is at 20, is that 28 minutes? Yeah, 29, we're gonna say 29 minutes. So T1, 29 minutes. So to start off, we had 28 plus, that's 35 minutes, plus 41 minutes, that's 51 minutes. That's 1 hour and 20 minutes. So 1 hour, 20 minutes to get to T1, which is where we're at right now. So not bad. And that's doing it on camera and everything else. Now the next step is prepare and install tapped inductor L12. Now I actually did a video on this already, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it again live, and that will be the next installment. So thanks for watching. If you like these videos, please, 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 please subscribe, click like, it helps me out. I don't really ask for anything here. You can leave it, there's a tip jar. I'll put a link below if you want to use it, but you don't, or not tip jar, but it's like a buy me a coffee type thing. you don't really have to use it. It's just there if people want to, want to. One thing I've learned in life is that it's always good to give people the opportunity to show thankfulness. Because showing thankfulness is a good human quality that a lot of people try to cultivate but don't know how. Not that they don't know how, but like, how do you reach out to a guy on YouTube and, say thanks other than just saying thanks? Well, it's easy. Subscribe, click like, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. And, if you don't do those things, that's okay too. I'm doing this because I want to, not because I need to, or I'm not trying to get anything from it. I don't know. Right now I have 870 followers or subscribers here on YouTube, which means I'm not eligible for monetization. I make nothing out of this. This is my hobby. I do it for fun. So I hope that you are having fun too. Anyway, so on to the next video of doing L12. See you then.